Imagine for a moment a pipeline that does far more than just transport water from point A to point B. Picture it not as a cold, utilitarian conduit, but as a vital artery of innovation, pumping life through the heart of Australia's sun-drenched outback. This is a pipeline that not only quenches the thirst of parched soil and struggling towns, but also powers a region's transformation, potentially making Australia the world's new blueprint for sustainable, clean, green energy. Now stretch your imagination even further. What if this bold experiment could rewrite the rules for sustainable development, revitalize entire communities, and serve as a global model for the future of renewables? Or is it perhaps a daring gamble that walks a razor's edge between world-changing promise and unpredictable risk? For more than a decade, Australia has been locked in a struggle against two of the most urgent challenges of our era: persistent water scarcity, especially in its agricultural heartlands, and the mounting imperative to decarbonize its extensive aging infrastructure. The stakes are existential. Droughts, once considered rare, have grown into near-annual threats, putting crops, livelihoods, and entire communities at risk. Meanwhile, the economic engine that has long been fueled by coal and gas finds itself under mounting international pressure to pivot toward renewables and decarbonization. It is against this dramatic backdrop that the Bowen pipeline project emerges, a project as audacious and sprawling as the land it will cross. At its core, the Bowen pipeline project is engineered to deliver up to 100,000 megaliters of water every year. To put this into perspective, that is enough water to keep vast farming districts alive through withering droughts, sustain commercial-scale horticulture, and support the rapid growth of regional towns. The pipeline will run for 182 kilometers, threading its way across Queensland, with its route carefully designed to follow the Bruce Highway for much of its journey. The pipeline will snake through private lands and unformed road reserves, bringing life and opportunity to towns such as Bowen, Gumlu, and Guthalungra. But what truly sets this project apart is not just its scale or ambition, it is the way it will be powered. Unlike traditional infrastructure, which so often relies on fossil fuels, the Bowen pipeline will harness the relentless, abundant Australian sun. More than 52,000 high-efficiency Wallara solar modules, each meticulously engineered by Tindo Solar, will convert sunlight into energy for the pumps and machinery that keep this underground river flowing. To grasp the magnitude, imagine a field of solar panels stretching across the outback, each panel working in perfect harmony to power a lifeline beneath the soil. This is not a distant dream or a pie-in-the-sky vision. Tindo Solar, the brains behind these panels, is a homegrown Australian company founded in the year 2011. Since then, it has become a symbol of the nation's push for renewable technology made onshore, by Australians, for Australians. The company's Adelaide manufacturing facility, opened in the year 2021, is now a hive of clean tech innovation, churning out solar modules that not only power the pipeline, but are also competitive in international markets. In fact, Tindo Solar recently secured a 5-year export agreement with Vietnam, valued at over 8 million Australian dollars, proving that Australian solar technology is not just world-class, but world-beating. Richard Pedersen, CEO of Tindo Solar, is a passionate advocate for local manufacturing. In his own words, cheap imports come with a cost that is never counted, and that's the carbon miles of the imported goods and the jobs that are not created in Australia. This philosophy is woven into the very DNA of the Bowen pipeline. By sourcing panels domestically, using Australian-made aluminium frames through partnerships such as the one with Capral Aluminium, and even extruding the pipeline itself on-site, the project is achieving more than just technical innovation. It is actively slashing emissions, supporting regional jobs, and keeping hundreds of millions of dollars circulating within local economies. This approach, which puts local industry and sustainability at its heart, is a powerful counterpoint to the global trend of outsourcing manufacturing to the lowest bidder. It is estimated that the Tindo Solar Gigafactory, when fully realized, will require an investment of around 100 million Australian dollars, create 250 skilled jobs, and have the capacity to produce as many as 7,000 solar modules every single day. That is a scale of production that could soon allow Australia to not only power its own green infrastructure, but help electrify the world. But the Bowen pipeline is much more than a water project or even an energy project. It is designed as a linchpin in Queensland's ambitious push to become a world leader in green hydrogen, a fuel that many experts now see as the linchpin of the global clean energy transition. The pipeline will supply water to the Bowen Green Hydrogen Project, which plans to produce a staggering 212 million tons of green hydrogen every year by the year 2030. If all goes according to plan, that figure could more than double, reaching up to 530 million tons by mid-century. Green hydrogen, created by splitting water into hydrogen and oxygen using renewable electricity, is being hailed as a game-changer for sectors where electrification alone will not suffice. Think heavy industry, transoceanic shipping, and even long-haul aviation. To really understand what is at stake, consider this. Australia's green hydrogen ambitions could eventually rival its historic coal exports in terms of economic impact. The International Energy Agency projects that global solar capacity could quadruple by the year 2050, and projects like Bowen may serve as the templates for integrating renewable energy directly into essential infrastructure all over the world. The Bowen pipeline, by enabling a constant, reliable water supply, could transform Australia into a major exporter of clean energy, sending green hydrogen to countries across Asia, Europe, and beyond, reshaping international trade and diplomacy in the process. Yet this story is not only about megawatts and megaliters. The ripple effects of the Bowen pipeline extend deep into the fabric of local communities. The construction and operation of the pipeline are expected to generate up to 1,200 jobs, injecting approximately 300 million Australian dollars into the regional economy every single year. These numbers are not just statistics, they represent real livelihoods. Families who can stay rooted in their communities, young people who no longer have to migrate to big cities for work, and small businesses that can ride a wave of new economic activity. Queensland's outback, blessed with around 300 days of sunshine each year, seems almost tailor-made for this solar-powered vision. The region's agricultural producers, long at the mercy of unpredictable rainfall and harsh droughts, could finally gain the water security they need to plan, invest, and expand for the future. Importantly, Indigenous landowners, who have so often been marginalized or overlooked in major infrastructure projects, are being brought to the table as key stakeholders. The pipeline's design and route reflect a genuine commitment to respect for country, cultural heritage, and the empowerment of First Nations communities. As Sean Brown, a representative from the Bowen Water Pipeline, puts it, "We are delighted to be fulfilling goals of utilizing Australian-made solar panels and ensuring that local communities see real, lasting benefits." But for all this optimism and promise, the road ahead is anything but straightforward. The Bowen Pipeline still faces a formidable gauntlet of regulatory approvals, environmental impact assessments, and complex engineering challenges before even a single section of pipe is laid. Construction is currently scheduled to begin in the year 2026, assuming all final approvals are secured. Yet any delays, whether caused by bureaucratic red tape, unforeseen cost escalations, or organized community opposition, could threaten to stall or even derail the region's hopes for transformation. Then there is the technical elephant in the room. Can such a vital piece of infrastructure truly rely on solar power alone? Australia's climate, after all, is famously extreme. What happens if a string of cloudy days reduces solar output, or if bushfires, dust storms, or hail damage disrupts solar panel arrays? Energy experts, including those at the International Energy Agency, are clear-eyed about the risks. While solar is now growing faster than any other form of power generation globally, over-reliance on a single energy source introduces new vulnerabilities. The world's total concentrated solar power fleet is forecast to reach 73 gigawatts by the end of this decade and over 400 gigawatts by mid-century. But as capacity rises, so too do the risks of system-wide failures during prolonged weather anomalies or technical malfunctions. To address these very real concerns, the Bowen Pipeline project is investing in robust energy storage solutions. Large-scale battery arrays will be deployed alongside the solar farm to store excess power, ready to be called upon during periods of low sunlight or unexpected demand spikes. Engineers are also exploring hybrid models that could see backup power supplied by other renewable sources, such as wind turbines, or even by highly efficient low-carbon gas turbines during emergencies. In this way, the project aims to combine the best of innovation with the necessity of resilience. As one leading infrastructure analyst recently remarked, "Building green is good, but building resilient is essential." Globally, there are few direct precedents for the scale and ambition of the Bowen Pipeline. However, similar principles are being tested in other parts of the world. In California's Central Valley, for example, solar-powered pumps are being used to irrigate drought-prone farms, though on a much smaller and less integrated scale. In North Africa, pilot projects are underway to combine solar-powered desalination plants with pipeline networks, aiming to deliver fresh water to some of the world's most arid regions. Yet none of these efforts matches the scope and complexity of integrating water transport, renewable energy, and green hydrogen production as envisioned in Bowen. If the Bowen pipeline project succeeds, the implications could be nothing short of transformative, not just for Queensland or Australia, but for water-stressed regions around the globe. Arid landscapes in the American Southwest, the Middle East, and Sub-Saharan Africa could one day look to Bowen as a model, adapting its blueprint to their own unique challenges. The ability to pair massive solar arrays with critical water infrastructure could, in time, help entire continents defy drought, revitalize agriculture, and build new industries powered by clean energy. But the risks are just as real, and perhaps even more sobering. Should the pipeline's solar generation falter during extended periods of cloud cover, or if technological failures compromise energy storage systems, water supplies could be interrupted exactly when they are needed most. This is not a hypothetical scenario. In the year 2017, a major heat wave and technical failure at a water treatment plant in New South Wales left entire towns facing emergency water rationing. The lesson is stark. Redundancy, adaptability, and rigorous risk management are absolutely non-negotiable. Financially, the stakes are equally high. The Bowen Pipeline's business model hinges on the economic viability of green hydrogen production, which in turn depends on the cost of renewable electricity, advances in electrolysis technology, and the unpredictable tides of global market demand. Should the price of solar modules decline further, or if energy storage technologies become cheaper and more efficient, Australia's green hydrogen exports could blossom into a multi-billion-dollar industry. On the other hand, if construction costs spiral, or if global markets shift, perhaps due to competition from other hydrogen exporters, the region could be left saddled with stranded assets, unfinished projects that never deliver their promised benefits. There are also broader, deeply relevant lessons for policymakers, business leaders, and ordinary citizens alike. First, genuine innovation rarely flourishes in isolation. The Bowen Pipeline is bringing together a diverse coalition: farmers, indigenous landowners, local manufacturers, government agencies, and private investors. This collaborative approach is already paying dividends. Hundreds of new jobs created, millions of dollars staying within regional economies, and a sense of shared ownership in a once-in-a-generation project. Tindo Solar's expanding international reach is a testament to Australian ingenuity. Most recently, its panels were rated by the independent organization Choice as the best-performing modules in the country, delivering 7 watts more than their rating in laboratory tests. This kind of recognition builds confidence and attracts further investment, both at home and abroad. Second, Bowen's story is a powerful reminder that sustainable progress depends on finding the right balance. Renewable energy offers transformative potential, but no single source, no matter how plentiful, can solve every challenge. Adaptability and flexibility are essential. Supplementing solar power with advanced battery storage, backup generation, and agile demand management could spell the difference between a lasting legacy and a fleeting experiment. As the Net Zero Australia study highlights, the boundaries of the nation's emissions debate are being redrawn by what is technologically and economically possible. In many ways, Bowen is a live experiment, a test of whether bold ideas can survive the harsh light of reality. Third, the project's insistence on Australian-made components is more than just a patriotic gesture. By choosing homegrown solar panels, using locally sourced aluminium frames, and extruding pipeline sections right at the construction site, the project is cutting carbon emissions at every stage, from manufacturing to installation. This approach minimizes so-called carbon miles, the hidden environmental costs of transporting goods halfway around the globe. It also maximizes the community benefits of infrastructure investment, creating new opportunities for regional manufacturers and tradespeople. As Luke Hawkins of Capral Aluminium puts it, the proposed gigafactory is a milestone for Australia's manufacturing sector, one that could see up to 250 jobs created and 7,000 solar modules produced every day when fully operational. The Bowen Pipeline's impact will also ripple through Australia's research and innovation ecosystem. As Tindo Solar's Cara panel continues to garner praise for its performance, Australian technology is increasingly being recognized at the global level. This could attract more investment, inspire new breakthroughs, and foster a culture of continuous improvement across the renewable sector. The lessons learned from this project could inform future policies, shape education and training programs, and set new standards for sustainable manufacturing worldwide. It's also worth highlighting the transformative role of green hydrogen in Australia's future. With the Bowen Green Hydrogen project on track to produce hundreds of millions of tons annually by the year 2030, and potentially doubling that output by mid-century, Australia could soon become a global powerhouse in the hydrogen economy. This would not only create new export revenues, but also help decarbonize challenging sectors like steelmaking, shipping, and aviation. The ripple effects could reach every corner of the economy, from research and development to skilled trades, logistics, and international diplomacy. But perhaps the most profound lesson of all is this: infrastructure in the 21st century must be reimagined. The days of building single-purpose projects, those that solve one problem but create others, are behind us. The Bowen pipeline is not just a conduit for water, it is a platform for clean energy, a lifeline for agriculture, a job creator for regional towns, and a test bed for future-proof manufacturing. By integrating multiple objectives, water security, renewable generation, industrial growth, and community resilience, the project challenges the very notion of what infrastructure can and should be. Yet, none of this is guaranteed. Success will demand an unwavering commitment to innovation, rigorous risk management, and the courage to adapt when things do not go as planned. As the climate crisis intensifies, the cost of failure rises, not just measured in dollars, but in lost opportunities, broken promises, and communities left behind. The stakes are not only national, but global, as countries everywhere search for answers to the intertwined challenges of water security, energy transition, and sustainable development. A final, often overlooked hero in this narrative is the pipeline itself. By being extruded on site, using local materials and labor, it quietly sets a new standard for how infrastructure can respect both people and planet. Emissions are reduced, indigenous landowners see tangible benefits, and the knowledge gained becomes an exportable asset in its own right. So, can a solar-powered pipeline deliver on its many promises? The answer is nuanced. Yes, if ambition is matched with pragmatism, if resilience is built into every stage, and if local strengths are nurtured alongside global